Oh, good morning. It's Monday morning. Some of you are wondering what happened on Friday. Well, I got up Friday early and we went to Raleigh, and I forgot about this until way too late. And Saturday, much the same thing happened. We didn't go to Raleigh, but things happen, life happens. And so here we are. We're going to finish this by the end of May. Don't worry. Chapter 21, verses 1 through 9. Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box. And he saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins. And he said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them, for they all contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on." And while some were speaking of the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, he said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And they asked him, "Teacher, when will these things be, and what will be the sign that these things are about to take place?" Jesus said, "See that you are not led astray, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' and the time is at hand. Do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults, do not be terrified, for these things first must take place, but the end will not be at once." So let's look at these two somewhat different passages separately. The widow's mite, first of all. The widow put in, I don't have it anymore. I used to have one of those coins. They're very, very small coins, and, 2 of them probably are worth a penny. And the rich are putting in, bags of gold because they got more bags at home. They just. So if you're rich, say, and you put in $500 into the church offering plate, that's a big check. It's a big offering. But you've got plenty of money. You don't even miss a few $100s. Now, let's suppose that you're living on a very fixed income, or that you're just not paid very much and you've got a bunch of expenses, your rent and your groceries and all your children, and they have to go to the doctor and all that. And all of a sudden, $500 is like gigantic. You can't possibly give that much to the church. But, you've got $2 and you could put that in. See, Jesus is saying, look at the rich are putting in big sums, but percentage-wise, it's not that much. They don't miss it. The poor lady puts in all the money she's got, which is, a significant donation, a significant hit to her budget, and yet this is what she does, and so he commends her. So we might ask ourselves, what are we giving to the church and donating? And everybody says, well, the church always wants money. All they talk about is money. That is not true. It's not all we talk about. And the church does not want money all the time. We don't do all these things we do in order to get money. If we did, we'd charge tickets. We do the things we do for people, and we need money. Yes, we have to pay the salaries of several people, and we have to pay for the huge buildings that we've got, and those are expensive, frankly. The insurance and the this and the that, and, it all totals up. And then what are we giving away for, on the mission side of things? Are we helping people that walk in? Because people come in every day and need $400 or $500, and we're able to give them, a little bit, or sometimes we help them with the whole thing. But if we helped everybody who asked, we could spend as much money as we wanted. So all I'm saying is, when you look at the church and you look at what you're giving and look at what God has promised you and think, well, this isn't really so bad in exchange for eternal life, right? So, okay. So make up your mind what you're going to give and give it. And that's fairly simple. Then Luke goes on to say, put a lot of most people think that he wrote this after Jerusalem was destroyed, so he knew exactly what happened, and he was able to sort of put that in Jesus' mouth as it was written. Now, some people say, well, no, Jesus knew beforehand what was going to happen, and perhaps he did. And perhaps he said these things beforehand. But remember, the Gospels it's not like a CNN reporter on the scene with a camera. The Gospels are not giving us what Jesus said day by day, and then the next day we get more. It's looking back from a long time later. And so sometimes what the writers put in Jesus' mouth may be their understanding of where things are. And they understand that, terrible things are going to happen, yeah. And some of those things will happen and the end will come, and some will happen and the end won't come. And you just have to kind of parse out the signs, I guess, or something. So Jesus is talking about how the temple will be destroyed, and indeed it was destroyed. It hasn't been rebuilt yet. And so, and so we wait. But they said, when will the end be? And Jesus, he seems to think it's going to come fairly soon. The early church expected it to be any minute now, and now it's been years, centuries, and it hasn't come. So something's goofed up with our expectations, I guess. Anyway, we'll look at that again before the book is over. And again, I hope that you have a great week and a great Monday. See you tomorrow.